Voor Frankrijk om wat te doen aan het doelsaldo. Op deze manier knallen hard dat schot Benzema.
Every 4 years, the entire world watches as 32 national teams representing 32 nations compete against one another for the World Cup. The World Cup is the most widely viewed and watched sporting event in the world. The 2014 competition is set in Brazil, where France have qualified. Divided elsewhere, French soccer fans are united during the World Cup to support France.
It's really important because this here, for example, is the place where we won the World Cup. So when the football team is okay, the country is good. So actually, we won yesterday, so the country feels really good.
Soccer is the most popular sport in France by far. The country has a rich soccer history, highlighted by hosting and winning the World Cup in 1998, the competition for which the Stade de France was built.
We needed to build a big stadium to host the World Cup. So that's why we built the stadium. It cost 350 million euros. Half paid by the government and half, it's 52% government and 48% too big society of Britain.
Generally, competitions involving the national team inspire heightened nationalism in France, but beyond that, the country is experiencing a new wave of anti-immigrant sentiment at the moment. This sentiment is spurred by parties from the extreme right. There are many players in the French team that come from non-French backgrounds whose French identities are now subject to skepticism, such as Karim Benzema, one of the team's most prolific goal scorers. A French deputy from a far-right party, Jean-Yves Le Gall, tweeted that he was rooting against France when they were playing against Ukraine because he considered the French team as too diverse and that the Ukrainian team represented the old European people.
Well, it's true, football does bring an ugly side to people. I think there's racism and nationalism, because people are proud, sometimes too proud of their country, so when they lose, it brings out a bad side, they become violent, they can start insulting people for no reason.
A New York Times poll found that when French people were asked which team they were rooting against in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, the most common response was Algeria, a team that features 16 players themselves born in France. This shows a sort of carryover of anti-immigrant sentiment. There are also players on the French team with Algerian roots, like Karim Benzema, and one of France's best ever players, Zinedine Zidane.
The football players don't play football, don't sing the Marseillaise. Is the reason why the French don't like this team.
I think it's a matter of when Algeria win, you can't sleep at night. They'll be beeping all night. They'll be causing loads of noise all over Paris and France. It remains friendly most of the time anyway. But I don't think most French are against Algerians.
Algeria has a large contingent of support in France as one of the largest diasporic communities in the country. The country of Algeria was a French colony until 1962 when they gained independence. Algeria's support was apparent in Paris during their World Cup matches against Belgium, which Belgium won 2-1. Algerian fans are known to stop traffic and celebration in the Champs-Élysées when their team wins a big game, and even after a loss, many fans could be found there, wearing flags and jerseys.
The French Algerians are born here. They feel more like Algerian. than French, and for me it's due to politics. It's done here in France, making me feel like they are more Algerian than French. So when that opportunity comes, like there's a game and stuff like that, they prefer to for Algerian team than the French team.
Though many Algerian fans in France think of themselves as much more Algerian than French, many of them still feel tied to France and support the French team. Their national identity is mixed, and they feel supportive towards multiple teams representing themselves.
There's some like French Algerian people, I would say French Algerian people who feels like they are French and at the same time they are Algerians because of what? Because like their parents are Algerians who came here to France, you know, to have their life, living their life here, like. And from they feel like they are here French because they're born here, they went to school, they have the French culture, and they have everything here. But like they have some roots, Algerian roots, and so they feel like they are both Algerian and French, so there's no problem. So we can, talking about football, we can, a soccer game, we can take like Zinedine Zidane or Benzema, they are Algerians. I mean, their parents are Algerian, but they choose to play for the French team, and we have like kind of examples like that.
Politics of national identity manifest themselves within soccer in a variety of ways, and in turn people utilize soccer as a function of their national identity. Fans have a variety of reasons to root for the national teams they do, but the reasons for and the consequences behind these choices are not arbitrary. Soccer, most clearly in the context of the World Cup, is a meaningful source of national identity, and the relationship between fans of a former colonizer and a former colony can tell us something about post-colonial France we may not have otherwise noticed.